That's probably the manliest thing I've ever done. Actually, the manliest thing I've ever done in my life was have sex with another man. Queen of everything. Alright, let me just get this started. 2 cups in. Alright, here we go. Hello world and welcome to my world. My name is Brent Snyder and today's video is going to be a little bit different than the videos that I've been filming recently. This one's going to be a little bit more serious. If you've read the title, then you're probably saying to yourself, duh bitch, we know you're gay. But I wanted to make this video because today, September 5th, is my 4-year anniversary of coming out. I like to lovingly refer to it as my rebirth day, because I feel like I was reborn on that day. So I thought I would make a little video for you, just sort of telling you about my coming out story. I haven't really publicly talked about this too much. A lot of my close friends and family know, but you guys on Facebook that I'm friends with probably have no idea some of the stuff that went on. So I thought that I would talk to you about that today. So let's start at the beginning. Ever since I was a little kid, I knew that I was different. I knew that I wasn't like the boys in school. They were all interested in sports and girls, and I was more interested in being best friends with the girls and like being in clubs. In case you didn't know, I grew up very conservative, very religious. I was, from the time that I was born, I was in an independent Baptist church. Every Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday night, we went to church. Church was my life, and I loved it. As I got older, I knew that I was different, and by the time I got to middle school, I knew that I was gay, but I also knew that, or thought I knew, that it was wrong because of what I had been taught in church and what my family had taught me, and I thought that I could fix it. So I started probably in 6th grade, once I hit puberty. I started to pray every single day that it would go away and that God would cure me and that things would be better and I would have a normal life. The older I got, the more I realized that that was bogus and that that wasn't going to happen. And in high school, I really started to struggle with my sexuality. I was, as a little kid, I was called a sissy because I acted differently or because I didn't play sports. And in high school, there were a lot of kids. I won't say that I was bullied, but there were a lot of kids who would just like come up to me and point blank ask me, "Are you gay?" And I guess I knew, but I didn't really know fully that I was. Like, I thought it was something I could fix, so why would I tell somebody else that I was? When I went to college was when I really started to struggle because I saw a lot of different types of people when I went to college. I met a lot of different types of people. I knew some people that were gay. But again, I went to a pretty religious liberal arts college in a very small town. So there wasn't a huge gay population, and I didn't really know, like, have a friend who was gay, so I didn't know what to do. And especially being religious and being conservative, and having a family who was like that and knowing where they stood, it never entered my mind to come out. I knew that I would never come out. And so as I got older, I graduated college. I was really overweight, and after college I decided to go on a weight loss journey, and I lost a whole bunch of weight, and it gave me a lot more self-confidence, and it changed a lot of things in my life. And then my grandma, who I was really close with, passed away in November of 2011, and it really sort of hit home because I saw how much time that I'd spent with her and how much I loved her. And I think I knew about 3 months before she passed away, I had finally come to grips with myself that I was gay and that I couldn't really change it. I've been trying for 24 plus years to change who I was and hiding this part of myself. And so I vowed, first I vowed to never come out, and I vowed to never marry a woman or date a woman because I didn't want to disrespect her. When I knew that I was gay, why would I marry or date a woman because to try and hide who I am or to try and suffice other people or make other people happy. That's not fair to her. I would never want to hurt anybody like that. And so I just decided to be alone for the rest of my life. And then as things went on, I realized that that's no way to live. You know, I want to have a life and I want to have a family and I want to be able to be free and open and be who I am. And so I vowed to not come out while my grandma was still alive because I did not want to have that conversation with her. She was very respected in our community and she was a very devout woman in the church, and I just didn't want to hurt her in that way. And I knew it would hurt. And after she passed away, I kind of went into a dark spiral at the end of 2011, the beginning of 2012. I had some surgery on my face, a little bit of plastic surgery. Nothing major, not a nose job or anything like that. I just had some moles removed on my face. And after the surgery, the doctor had given me a prescription for Vicodin, and I didn't use it because it didn't hurt. So I had this whole thing of Vicodin just sitting in my room at home when I was living with my parents. And after my grandma died, I was unemployed. I had a college degree in biology with a concentration in pre-med, and I couldn't get any jobs anywhere. I was applying to probably 50 jobs a day, and I couldn't get any jobs because it was kind of just after the recession happened. So I was unemployed. I would occasionally work with my dad, but he was a carpenter, he was a contractor, and I hated doing that stuff. I liked working with my dad because I got to spend time with him, but I hated the actual work. So my grandma just passed away. I was unemployed, and I was struggling with my sexuality and trying to figure out how I fit in the world that has been built for me in this religious, conservative place. And I slowly started to detach from that and realize that that's not who I am, that a lot of the ideas or the ideals that I grew up with and the standards that my family had weren't necessarily what I aligned with, and that was something that I was kind of set into. And I started to think for myself and have a mind of my own, and it freaked me the hell out. And so at the beginning of 2012, I started down a really dark path. I started to drink really heavily. My parents don't drink at all, and they've never had alcohol in their house, to my knowledge. And so I would go to the ABC store and I would buy airplane bottles of liquor, and I would tuck them back in my closet, ironic, in my bedroom. And when they would go to bed, I would take out the airplane bottles, mostly it was vodka, and I would pour a whole bunch of vodka in a glass, put a little bit of orange juice in there, and go get in the bathtub and take like 3 Vicodin and drink the vodka mixture and take Vicodin and get in the bathtub, and I would just pass out for hours because I didn't want to face the feelings that I was having. I didn't want to face the emotions that I was having, and the Vicodin and the vodka would take it away. I would feel happy. I would have memories of things that were happier to me than everything that I was going through. And then eventually it got to a point where I was just numb. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't cry over my grandma's death. I couldn't cry about my sexuality. I couldn't cry about not being able to fit into the world that was given to me. And starting in the summer of 2012, I became suicidal. And I was working for my sister then in her restaurant, and it was tough. I was a cook making minimum wage with a college degree. The most important person in my life had just passed away, and I was contemplating the idea of coming out. It was really difficult because I knew if I came out, that was it. I was on my own. I had to be independent. My parents, I love my parents, and I will talk about my relationship now with them eventually, but I knew it was going to be a rough ride, and I didn't know if I had the strength to go through that. And so on September the 5th, 2012, it was a Wednesday, I came home from work and I took a nap, and my family, the few weeks up to September 5th, 2012, my family kind of sensed that there was something going on. They could tell that I'd really withdrawn. I'm really close with my oldest sister, Rachel, and she could tell that something was going on with me, even though she didn't live with us. I mean, she had her own life with her own kids, but she could tell that something was going on. And I came home from work on September the 5th, 2012. Like I said, it was a Wednesday. I got home probably around 5 o'clock and I went straight to bed. I took some Vicodin and went straight to bed. And I woke up and it was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I was really out of it. My parents had gone to church, and I got up and I just said, this is it. I have a choice to make. I've come to the end of the road, and there is a crossroads. You either kill yourself and end this now, or you come out. There is no in between. You can't live this double life anymore. You're 25 years old. You've been hiding your entire life. So you either end it or you move on. And in that moment, I actually decided to end my life. And holy crap, I've never really said this out loud to too many people. My dad is a hunter, and so I went to his gun cabinet and I opened it, and I had hunted with him as a kid, and so I knew the guns and knew what to do. And I remember running my hand along the different guns, and I remember running my hands along the guns and trying to figure out which one I was going to take my own life with. And in that moment, I felt nothing. I felt numb, and I felt helpless and hopeless, and I didn't know how to come out of that. And the only way that I saw out was to just end it. I figured it would be better for everybody else. And a lot of people talk about suicide as being selfish, and I could not disagree more. It is not a selfish thing. Most people who take their own life are doing it because they are being selfless. They're doing it because they feel like it's going to be better for everybody around them, and that's definitely how I felt. And luckily, at the moment that I had picked out the gun, I was getting ready to pull it out of the gun cabinet, and my sister, Rachel, who I've talked about, texted me, and she said, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I've noticed that you've been acting differently." And that was the first moment that I was like, wow, like someone cares. And I thought, it just it catapulted me back into reality. And I realized that there were people out there that I could trust. It might be hard, and it might be lonely at times, and I might feel helpless and hopeless at times, but I have people like my sister, and I have people like my best friend Brandy, who I can talk to about everything. And so it wasn't like a light switch. It wasn't like I was like, okay, I'm not going to kill myself now, I'm going to come out. But we started talking, and it distracted me, and we started talking, and I came out to her over text message, and she was amazing and completely accepting, and was just it felt like nothing else I'd ever felt in my life. And still to this day, I've never felt something that was so exhilarating and so uplifting than to finally, after 25 years, say, this is who I am, and have somebody say, all right. It was amazing. And 3 days later, I was with my best friend Brandy, and I told her, and I remember when I told her, she was like, okay. and I mean, I know that people around me knew, but it was just a matter of me saying it. And so I told them, and I told a couple other people, and then the big moment came when I told my mom. My mom and I have always been very close. I've always considered my mom my best friend. And I always felt like I could tell her anything and be open and honest with her. And again, my family knew that I was going through some stuff, and we had gone to dinner for my mom's birthday on October the 8th, 2012. That's my mom's birthday. And I rode back with her from dinner, and she just kept asking me. She's like, are you okay? What's going on? What's going on? And I said, well, there's some stuff going on. And so she kept asking me, like, is it this? Is it that? And I said, if you can guess it, I might tell you, but you can't handle it. And so she was like, are you having girl problems? And I was like, definitely not. And she was like, do you have a drug problem? And I was like, no. And by this time the Vicodin had kind of subsided. I'd taken them all. So I didn't really have any more to take, and I didn't feel the need because I'd come out. She's like, do you have a drinking problem? And I was like, no. And then she said, are you gay? And I got really quiet, and we pulled into our driveway. We got up to the top of the driveway, and I said, what if I said yes to the question that you just asked? And she said, I wouldn't believe it. You weren't raised that way. You know better. I wouldn't believe it at all. You can't be. And then I said, well, the answer to that question is yes. And she got out of the car and went in the house, and my life went crazy. After my mom knew, things got bad. She and I didn't talk, and every time we did, it was about that and about how much she disagreed and how we can fix it and how things were going to be, how I needed to change. And I had told her, I'm not changing, this is who I am. Like, I can't change. This wasn't a choice that I made. Why would I make this choice and have my whole family disown me? Like, it's not something that I can change. And so we went for a couple months of not talking, and every time we did, it was just fight after fight after fight. And so I practically lived with my best friend Brandy. And then November 22nd, 2012, it was Thanksgiving, and I had met this guy on Grindr a couple days before, and we'd started talking, and it was very innocent, and it was we had great chemistry. And he lived in Charlottesville, and he asked if I wanted to come over and have a drink on Thanksgiving night, because I told him that I'd just come out a couple months ago, and I was getting together with my family. It was going to be stressful. And so my sister and my best friend Brandy both actually urged me to do it and to go meet him. And so I did, and it turned out to be one of the better decisions I've ever made in my life. And he and I started dating shortly after, and it was rough. It was very rough because I had just come out and I was new, and I was scared of everything. I was scared of drag queens. I was scared of gay clubs. I was scared of anything that threatened me. We just had very different social styles. I'm the type to still am. I like to sit on the couch and watch movies and stuff, and he was very outgoing and social. And he had a lot of gay friends. Most of his friends were gay, and it was just very difficult because I was still trying to come out to friends and family. And then drama started because people at my church slowly started to find out that I had come out without me telling them. And they started to start rumors and stir up the pot and start drama. And at this time, my dad did not know. My dad, I hadn't come out to him yet. My mom had asked me not to, so I was trying to respect that until I could figure out what to do. So drama started at church, and I was dating this guy, and I was being immersed in gay culture all at the same time, and I was making minimum wage, still trying to find a job. It was a lot. It was a lot to handle. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret meeting him. I think that I struggled when I was thinking about making this video about whether I should include him or not, because we are no longer together. But my coming out story is not complete without talking about him, because he was instrumental in making me feel like there was a community that supported me, and that there would always be people that would support me. And he showed me another world. He showed me another life, and I will forever be grateful to him for that. We are not together anymore, and we've had our issues, and some of you may know who I'm talking about and what I've gone through over the last couple years with that relationship. But I will say this, and I can say this very strongly: I will never, ever, ever forget all the things that he did for me. I will never forget how he was so patient and so kind to me and believed in me and encouraged me every step of the way through coming out. And I have to give him props for that. And like I said, my coming out story is not complete without him. And if in some way you're seeing this, thank you. So from then on, it was drama after drama after drama, and I was still living with my parents, but staying in Charlottesville a lot because we were dating, and staying with my best friend a lot. And one day I was at my parents' and I was getting ready for work, and I got out of the shower and came out of my room, and the preacher of the church that I went to was sitting in my dining room with my dad at the dining room table. And I was like, hey, and I was, running off to work, and he was like, can we talk for a second? And I was like, well, I gotta go to work. And he was like, well, again, I worked for my sister. He was like, well, I've already talked to her and she said it's okay for you to be late. Bitch, what? No. So I sat down and he started to ask me questions about the homosexual lifestyle and whether I agreed with it or not, and whether I had friends who were gay, because by this time on Facebook I was becoming friends with a lot of my ex's friends, and had become friends with my ex on Facebook. And so a lot of people in the church were starting to see it and starting rumors, and apparently people were coming to him and they were worried that I was going to have an adverse effect on their children. So he basically outed me in front of my dad. He basically said, if you agree with this lifestyle and you have friends who are gay, and you are doing these things and going these places, you either need to change or you need to not be a member of the church anymore. And I said, well, I need to think about that. There's a lot of things that I need to think about and figure out, and so I need to think about it. And he said, I need to know because there are people who want to know and who are afraid for their children's safety. Still bitter about that one. And he was like, I need to know now, are you going to change, or are you going to revoke your membership and from the church? And I said, well, if you're not going to give me time to think about it, then just consider me not a member of the church anymore. So that's pretty much where my coming out story stops, and then the rest of it is just me adjusting and finding my niche in this world and finding my extended family. And I just want you to know, if you're out there watching this and you are gay or you're struggling with your sexuality, whether it be you're bisexual or you are transgender or you're gay or lesbian, or even if you're just struggling with being different in life, just know that you should just stick to what you know, stick to yourself, find yourself, and just stay with it. You know yourself better than anybody else knows you, so just keep moving forward and keep going on. I am here to help. If you feel like that you are going to harm yourself or that you want advice, just talk to me. I love talking to people and giving people advice and hearing their story. And just know that there are places where you can get help. I say all that to say, every year on my ReBirthday, I give a donation of some sort to an organization that is gay related. So the first year I did the Trevor Project. Last year I donated to Diversify Richmond. This year I'm going to donate some money to Seville Pride, because I live in Charlottesville, and I'm very grateful that we have a community here in Charlottesville who is very accepting and open to the gay community. So I'm going to donate some money to Seville Pride. I'll put a link in the description box down below where you could donate to Seville Pride if you would like to as well. Yeah, so I hope you like this. This was probably more for me than it was for anybody else. It feels good to get it out there and to tell you guys my true story. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. We'll get back to all the funny stuff the rest of this week. But if you like these types of videos, let me know, and I have a ton of sad, serious stories that I can tell you about my life. So let me know if you like that. I'm not going to do a person of the day today or a random fact because it just feels weird to do it with this type of video. So I'm just going to say talk to you later, and goodbye, world. Just found out some drama. sure my neighbors appreciated that. My air conditioning's on right now, but that's because I'm a sweaty bitch. I've had 2 cups of coffee and I'm sitting right under the vent, so you guys can probably hear that too. Hello world. I have a little bit of a sinus infection, I think. My teeth are killing me. And I'm coughing up some phlegm. I just wanna be good for ya, good for ya. Ha ha. I just wanna be good for ya, good for ya.